Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Ernest Dove, resident prospect hugger and minor league junkie of Mets Twitter and I guess all of social media. And it's time for another weekly recap of the minor leagues. I'll try to make it short. It's mostly probably about Brooklyn because they're the ones that have so many talented players. But let me start at the top in AAA. We'll go with the the number one prospect in the organization, Brandon Sproat. He had another great outing. He 4 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He still sitting about 97, 98 in his outings. He could probably still get to 100. Maybe we'll wait for the weather to heat up to see if his fastball heats up even more. Question now, of course, is what do you do with Brandon Sproat? Do you try to call him up for the secretive or upcoming 13 games in a row? Do you use him as a six-man? Speaking with somebody in the Mets organization, they were basically saying, I would like to see him have a taste to get him in there. Doesn't mean they're saying or implying it's going to be in this position, in this spot, but they see the talent. They want to see it now at the major league level one way or another. I guess we'll wait and see if they do go ahead and make the call, because they do have a veteran who made his debut in this past week in minor league ball. Jose Urena made his debut for the Mets organization. 3 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 Ks. Not the sexiest name. I believe Mike Puma sent out a report on social media that maybe the Mets are exploring him, more of the veteran presence as an option to eat some innings coming up. But obviously everybody wants the main guy. We'll have to see. And again, now the rest of the whole Syracuse AAA lineup is a bunch of veterans. So just some names to keep an eye on because they keep having strong weeks back-to-back in minor league baseball as it's just starting. But Joey Meneses still doing his thing. His batting average is up to 327, 386 on base percentage, 5.38 slugging, 9.24 OPS. Might as well see. I mean, he could be one of those guys. He's probably going to get an opportunity one way or another. So at least obviously he's having a good start to his season. And an outfielder perhaps to keep an eye on is Gilberto Celestino, who's hitting 302 with a 375 on base percentage. Two of the kind of older-ish guys, which again, the entire lineup of 9 is pretty much guys who've kind of been around one way or another in organizations. So it's kind of what's going on. It seems to be Stearns' MO right now, at least for this season, to have the guys at the highest level possibly be guys you can more trust than anything, perhaps, for even short-term call-ups. Down in AA, I just want to talk about all pitchers this week because that's the highlight for the week. I know shout-out Jet Williams. He got a couple of hits here and there, some stolen bases. But again, there's a rainout every other day in Binghamton or something. They can't even play every day for the week. So let's just talk about some of the pitching. I'm going to group them up because they piggybacked each other this week. Nolan McLean and his wiffle ball. And also one of my favorites for the last 2 or 3 years, Yoander Suarez. This week, they piggybacked each other. They combined to go 9 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 3 walks, and 12 Ks between the two of them. You know my thoughts. You know the staff has been telling me about it. And when I talked to one of the Mets staff this week, they said Nolan McLean is so good, he still hasn't even tapped into all his potential yet. So there he is throwing a wiffle ball, getting a lot of strikes. He's putting up the zeros. And now the staff feels that he still hasn't hit his max, his peak of sorts in player development. So that's another exciting sign to see how much higher he can go. Yoander Suarez, staff basically just said, I'm happy for him. You can't ask for a better start because this was his first outing of the minor league season. And he comes out throwing zeros right off the bat. I believe he's the guy that threw the zeros. A really good outing for Yoander Suarez. If it was up to me, I think Yoander Suarez is the kind of guy that I would turn into the Nunez, Buto, or Max Kranick level pen guy. Let's see whatever progresses. It's only my opinion. He's sitting here still eating 4 innings in this game. I believe Nolan McLean went 5. He's been eating over 100 innings a year the last couple of years. So Suarez can eat enough innings to be a starter, but it's a route that somebody has to go in the Mets organization because here we are, AA, AAA is filled with arms. And there's even more coming than I'm going to talk about right now in high A. So if a guy like Suarez can be transitioned to the pen, sign me up. The other main name who made a name for himself and was listed as the pitcher of the week in the minor leagues, Jack Wenninger. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, only 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Amazing performance for the week. The social media post went up about the being like a player of the week, the pitcher of the week. In the Mets player development Twitter account. If you guys aren't already following it, go to Mets player DEV on Twitter or X. And they do a lot of great minor league information, even some interviews, podcasts. They do a lot of amazing things on the account. So continue to obviously check them out if you already do. Or now you know the name, get on there so you can start following them now on a daily basis. Now might as well talk about Brooklyn, which is going to basically take a lot of the segment along with the St. Lucie Mets. But in Brooklyn, you have Carson Benj. As far as after this second week, he's up to a .480 on-base percentage. He has 7 walks for 6 Ks. So he's taking a lot of walks, not a lot of offensive production at this point. But again, it's like a Juan Soto situation. If you don't pitch to him, what's he going to do? The other guy I talk about, Jacob Reimer. This past week, he had a couple of multi-hit games, a couple of 0-hit games after his extremely hot first week start of the season. But Jacob Reimer is still good, still healthy. Batting average is .306 right now through the last week of games. This is exciting because I talked about him in spring. We were talking about one of those guys along with Jet Williams and Drew Gilbert who missed basically the entire season last year. Jacob Reimer is now healthy, playing third base. I even saw him make a couple of really good plays defensively. I showed off his arm strength in a video I was watching this past week, watching one of the games. And again, hitting .306, not bad. I want to see how he continues to do. And he's always an on-base percentage guy from when he was drafted pretty much. So keep on the lookout to see if he's always above .350 or sorts for on-base percentage as he moves up the levels. Obviously, everyone's favorite at this point on social media. And now I gave him a new nickname. So we have Chris Dulce Suero, who at the end of this latest week in minor league ball in Brooklyn, he's hitting .345 for the week for the season. And his OPS is 1.234. That's the OPS. He hit his 3rd home run this week. He's just doing great all around. So you got to keep an eye out now for Chris Suero. How much higher can he go? There is a bit of a K rate, so the K rate is pretty high. So let's see how those things settle in as well. You have all these hits, but maybe a lot of the outs so far are Ks. So let's see how the hit tool progresses for the rest of the year. But this is super exciting. I believe this week he even played first base randomly now for the first time. He's also a catcher and a left fielder. So now they're probably just getting him into the games one way or another by having him at first. Keep an eye on him all year. He's probably a walking top 10 Mets prospect at this point. We just need this season to play out, see if it plays out that way, and see how much higher he goes. One of the flamethrowers in the organization, Ryan Lambert, pitched again this week. For the season, he's had 3 1/3 innings with 7 Ks and 0 walks. It's really all I want to talk about with him. When you have a guy like that who throws that hard up to 98, 99 plus, to have no walks, even in an extreme small sample size. But if he continues to do that, he pretty much has no business being in Brooklyn. He's going to be a walking AA pitcher. He's going to have to be pushed that far very quickly as long as the command stays hot. One of the top prospects, Jonathan Santucci, we had 4 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, and 5 Ks. And again, this is a guy that throws 95, 96, 97 miles an hour as a lefty. So, and there was always talk of command issues even from college. So here we are. Anything that amounts to a 0 walk outing, I'll take from Jonathan Santucci because of how elite his stuff is. Electric fastball, really good, probably above average slider. I believe he also has a changeup. So if he can mix in all 3 pitches, keep the walk rate down, got to probably see Santucci in AA by the end of the year as well. Some of the other arms to bring up, Noah Hall, 4 2/3 of shutout ball for him with 8 strikeouts. This is a guy a year or two ago. It might have been last year, talking to some of the Mets peoples in camp. They said he's kind of one of those surprise arms, maybe one of those guys, player development type guys. Let's see what we have, but we're excited about what could be. So now I'm excited to see, here's the new season, really good start for him. I want to see how things progress, especially with the command, like all pitchers. one of my favorites, second week, second shutout appearance / start for the lefty Zach Thornton. This time it was 5 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. So now we're looking at 10 innings with no runs to start his season. Looks really great out there. Seems like a couple of outings, he would focus on a couple of pitches more than the other. But I know in mentioning it through the beginning of the season in camp, he's up to as much as 5 pitches in his arsenal. So he has a lot to work with. And one of the most exciting things about him, fastball velocity has ticked up 1 or 2 miles an hour this year from last year. So now we're looking really good. He's probably up at this point 93, 94, even up to 95 tops for a lefty. And again, he was more 91, 92 last year. So this is exciting stuff. Probably shout out to the pitching lab. I want to see what Zach Thornton can do for the rest of the year. Because again, this could be one of those guys too. Could be a top 20 prospect in waiting when the season's over. The last pitcher in A-ball I want to talk about for high A is my guy, Joel Diaz. If you've been following me for some years, you know I've been hounding about Joel Diaz since he was a teenager because I loved his breaking ball. I thought his fastball was really good as a high-rising fastball, but the command I had some concerns with. He pitched this week, 4 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 Ks. This is actually a really, 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 really solid outing for Joel Diaz. One of those guys, again, very young in the Mets organization. And then he had Tommy John, like pretty much everyone, I guess. And I believe this is his second season now coming off Tommy John. So hopefully this is the takeoff season for a guy like Joel Diaz. He's still very young. He's only 21 years old. But again, I've been talking about him since he was about 18, 19. So now that we have a very healthy Joel Diaz, I'm excited to see what can become of that for the rest of this season. Down in low A for St. Lucie, we'll start with the king of rehabbers, Drew Gilbert, who ended up through the week hitting 375. Looks really good, obviously. You've seen some of the home run videos that he was hitting in St. Lucie. One thing that not really interesting, but it's really cool to point out, especially for a guy in the rehabbing situation, Drew Gilbert has played all 3 outfield positions during this rehabbing stint in St. Lucie. I believe it's 3 games in center field, but he's also manned left and right, 1 each. So they've been moving him around. That's really good as well. Again, you have a guy that can play all 3 outfield spots. I believe he can stick, quote unquote, in center field. Sounds like he probably would be even better in a corner. Strong arm. But again, if he can stick in center field, there's an opportunity, especially at least right now in the Mets organization. One of my favorites, obviously, Jesus exit Vilo Baez. Just got the word on social media that he's going to be moving on to Brooklyn, which he deserves. They didn't even list it as a rehabbing assignment, but it pretty much was. They probably just wanted to kind of feel out how he was going to do for a week or so in St. Lucie, next to the complex, keep him close by. But looks like he's now on his way back to high A, where he belongs. He started off 0 for 12 in St. Lucie trying to get his rhythm back because, again, he also missed the end of last season. He missed most of camp as far as not playing in the regular minor league spring games. So now that he's got his feet wet, he started hitting some of those 100 to 104 mile an hour tanks for the last few days this week in St. Lucie during games, whether they were a hit or an out. He was smoking it. That's back to what he usually does. And that's probably why they've probably figured, good enough, let's get him back to Brooklyn. One of the strongest arms right now in the Mets system, maybe not enough to be talked about, Will Watson, one of those guys who did the 2-start thing. Because of the 6-game schedule, he ended up pitching twice. And as a combined season total at this point, he has 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs in 7 2/3 innings, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Really amazing start for Will Watson. I've been talking about him since spring. When one of the coaches, I said, hey, who looks good out there? He named 3 pitchers. Will Watson was one of them. He says one of those guys who could actually be even higher than the other ones he talked about. From elite, really elite, solid stuff. They were just kind of anxious to see how it would come together when the season started. And so far, so good. On the younger side now, a couple of teenagers, infielder Marco Vargas from that Marlins trade for Robertson. He's been amazing this year. He also missed a lot of time off and on last season in the low minors. Here he is in St. Lucie. He's hitting .438 after this past week. And kind of his MO for the season, he's had 4 walks and only 1 strikeout for the season. Again, we're early, but more walks than Ks again. This is something he did about 2 seasons ago for the Marlins organization. He ended the entire season with more walks than Ks in the low minors. So here he is doing it again now in low A, and he's only 19. The other 19-year-old, one of my favorites now, I've been hyping incessantly since camp, the catcher, Daverson Gutierrez. I told everybody to be on the lookout for him. I was taking videos at some of the intra-squad games in camp. So far, so good. He's hitting 381. I like everything about him, obviously. I don't know about the power yet, but again, it's St. Lucie. The weather's awful. The parks are huge. I'm not worried about that right now, but he's hitting. That's what we're going to take. The other catcher, who's a little bit older, he's 22 years old. I've been following him now for a little while in St. Lucie. Vincent Peroso, kind of the combo catchers. He's hitting 385, which is really good sign for him. I used to love watching his bat. I like his swing. But again, he's 22 now. And there's a lot of catchers in the organization. So I want to see what they're even going to do with a guy like Peroso. Do they keep having him be a backup? Does he do a lot of DH and first base to stay in the organization? I'm still excited either way, but be on the lookout to see how that bat can progress. Back to some pitching. One of my favorites. I've interviewed the man, left-handed pitcher Eli Ankney. He came into a game this week, his second outing of the season in St. Lucie. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts. More importantly, he topped an estimated 94.3 miles an hour, 94.1, 94.3. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because even out of college, from pro ball, before his Tommy John, he was probably sitting 90, 91. Here he is topping 94 miles an hour post Tommy John. This might be some of the best now that we can see of Eli Ankney going forward. Eli Ankney, a.k.a. the dealer. That's going to be my new post when I start talking about Eli Ankney. Be on the lookout for him. He's probably a guy that belongs in Brooklyn stat. If he's already there by the time this video finishes, I won't be surprised. So let's see him in high A, then even by the end of the year, maybe double A. One way or another, as a lefty reliever, he's the kind of guy you want to push. Another pitcher, kind of been around now. It's his 3rd season. He's been very successful all 3 pro baseball seasons. Irving Coda, 4 shutout innings this past week with 3 Ks. He's another young arm to kind of keep an eye on. But again, I know there's so many of them in A-ball. I want to see if he can kind of progress and put his name above the rest. Some of the guys that are the absolute flamethrowers where you don't even know, you just hope and pray it's going to be in the strike zone and how good they can be. Raymond Gomez. He's the guy who throws 99. He pitched 2 1/3 scoreless this week. 2 walks, 3 Ks. Again, walks, but high Ks, 99 heat. Now, the other guy with him who pitched right after him in that game, Wellington Aracena, another guy who throws a pretty consistent 98, 99. He threw the same 2 1/3, 2 walks and 4 Ks. So now for Raymond Gomez and Wellington Aracena, it's kind of the tale as old as time. Guys who throw 98 to 100, do they have enough command to make it to the major leagues? I'm going to be rooting for both of these guys. I want to see how they progress. I believe Raymond Gomez has missed a lot of time, though, in ball. So he has a lot of catching up to do and just stay healthy. For Aracena, again, definitely, can he have enough command of all of his pitches? Either one, even the 99 fastball. Can he throw enough strikes? The last guy to talk about, some guy named Matt Allen. He did it again, folks. He had another outing. It was great again. For the season, he's now at 6 1/3 total innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, only 1 walk and 8 Ks. I'm still kind of shocked. He's been on this pitch limit where they've been having him go 45 to 47 pitches in both outings. I thought he would be a quick 1-inning guy for the whole season. Shows you how much I know, I guess. But Matt Allen looks fantastic. He's thrilled. He was basically sitting 96, 97 in both outings, including this past week. I want to see how he progresses. I want to see how soon they kind of pull the plug on his low A situation. They got to get a man like this to Brooklyn, especially with him throwing this well with command at 96, 97 plus. He's got to go to Brooklyn, which is a lot of pitchers' parks anyway. He's probably going to dominate. Speaking of which, hopefully I dominated in this quick weekly recap. I hope you guys continue to kind of support the show. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll keep trying to give as much information as I can. I'm that weird guy all over social media doing posts and videos of basically all 4 minor league games going on at the same time, and people are wondering, you probably have no life. I guess I really don't. Sometimes I don't. If my kid's not here, I'm watching as many games as possible on my phone, TV, laptop. I'm doing anything possible to bring you guys this information. So thank you for the support and continue to do so.